Welcome everybody to Talladega Superspeedway as the iOS Cup Series opens up the round of 8 here. My name is Josh Hall. You're watching Intensity Broadcasting, and we welcome you for an action-packed race here at Talladega Superspeedway. Let's take a look at our current point standings as they stand. As I mentioned, this is the round of 8. And Brian Dees, currently your points leader, got those extra bonus points. Isaiah Gill sitting in second. Then we have a six-way tie from 3rd to 8th with Colin Williams, Kyle Mays, Brian Nudie, Chris Wheeler, Eddie Morris, and Bobby Mays. And for any of those guys in red, actually from 3rd on back, tonight is a win and move on situation. So these guys are trying to get that win tonight, or can a non-playoff driver play spoiler tonight here? We take a look at our team standings. And Cyclone Racing kind of running away right now, with Carolina Sim Racing in second. And then Operators Racing sitting in third. Intensity and Team Maze rounding out your top 5. So we're getting ready for some action-packed drafting here at Talladega Superspeedway in the Cup Series. And the Cup Series, a lot of these drivers not liking this package too much, but I think as the race goes on, these guys might learn a few things. Watching the other drivers, you can use that side draft. You can get right there on that quarter panel and drag the car in front of you backwards to try to get a run, as you see Kyle Mays doing right now on his Uncle Todd. So they're 3 wide in practice here. And Talladega is wide enough. You can easily run 3 and 4 wide here at Talladega. Not that you would want to, but you can. And sometimes if you can get a good run, you can make that high line, that third lane work up on the high side. Next week, we're going to see the trucks taking on Talladega as the Cup and Truck Series are kind of flip-flopped here in the playoffs. Brian Nudie hard into the inside wall up on his roof to end practice. Hope he's okay and able to make qualifying. But the Cup Series will be the Truck Series tomorrow night will be taking on Las Vegas. Then next week, the Cup will go to Las Vegas and the trucks will come here to Talladega. So we're getting ready to get qualifying underway. Let's see who the first cars are off of pit road. It looks like the 22 of Chris Wheeler might be the first car out on track. Isaiah Gill also out on track early. Usually you see Isaiah wait till the end to qualify, but he's getting out there early. Same thing with Brian Dees. Brian Dees already getting up to speed, coming through turns 1 and 2 on the apron. These guys cannot cross up onto the apron until they pass that blue cone that you see Brian passing right now. And we want to thank you at this time for coming out and watching here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting, the iOS Cup Series. Whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, or Twitch, don't forget to drop a like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't for live iRacing 7 nights a week. And if you're watching on eRacing TV, we appreciate you following us in there as well. eRacing TV, what's that? Well, it's a free app that you can download for your Fire Stick or your Roku, and you can watch live racing 7 nights a week. Live iRacing 7 nights a week, right on your Fire Stick or your Roku TV. So check that out. It's eSpace Racing TV. Free download that you can download for that. As you see, Brian Dees out there making his qualifying lap, and you're going to see everybody do this tonight. Their first lap will be high right up against the wall, getting that car wound up as tight as you can. And then their second lap, they'll bring it down to the wall. We see him right up on that first white line, or that top white line up there, trying to get as much speed into this car as possible to get a good run. And then for his money lap, he's going to drop down early. Usually they stay up a little bit higher for that, but he's going to drop down early and ride the yellow line all the way around the track. You'll see a couple different qualifying lines from people tonight. See Chris Wheeler right there on that yellow line as well. And we'll have to see if Chris Wheeler, coming off of turn number 2, if he slides up high. No, he's going to stay right down on that yellow line. Same with Bobby Mays. Looks like he's going to hug the yellow line there. And he's going to start to fade up the track. See, this is one of the other ways that you can see a lot of people running this qualifying line is they try to get that run. Well, he's up to the middle lane here to get that run down off the hill to gain a little bit of speed. I think if you might see Joe Wright get out on track, you might even see him go all the way up to the wall down the backstretch. Try to get as much speed as he can. Try to scrub as little speed off the corner as possible. I just realized you cannot hear any car sounds, so bear with me 1 second while I throw up my screen right here and take care of that for you. I do apologize for that. There we go. Now we got some sound. Kyle May's just coming out on track right now. We see Stephen Black out on track. Stephen Black, always a big proponent of these Cup cars, always talking about how much he loves all the packages that these Cup cars have. And this one here at Talladega is no different. Stephen Black's coming to take his green flag lap here. See him go all the way down to the bottom. Coming across the line. He's another one, kind of moves up to that middle lane. Tries to get that little run down through the corner. Gets right down on that yellow line, kind of hugging that yellow line best he can around the track. He's going to stay right there on the bottom here. Comes down past pit road, and Talladega a little more unique than most other tracks because the start finish line is located past the tri-oval. And he's going to come across and move himself into the 5th position. One you got to watch out for tonight, someone who's been running very well in the Pelican Super Speedway Series, that'd be William Walter Witt the 5th. Kind of coming into his own as a bit of a super speedway expert. We'll see how he fares here at Talladega as he's running that high lane here on his out lap. Actually, I believe this lap, yep, this lap is on the clock right now. You'll see him drop down to the bottom through the tri-oval. Across the stripe and starts running his money lap. Cody Moore up to the top of the board right now with a 52.34. So we see Will Witt running that low line right down on the stripe, trying to gain as much time as he can, running the shortest way around the track. Dave Wright up into the 9th position. As Will Witt comes off of turn number 4 and through the tri-oval. Let's see where he's able to move himself here. And he's going to jump up to only 11th. Here's a different line you might see here. This is Joe Wright. Again, keeping it tight right up against the wall. This is his second lap here, so his out lap, if you will. Next lap would be what we like to call the money lap, because your second lap will always be faster, as it does take these cars about a lap or so to get up to full speed, due to not the restrictor plate in these things anymore, but the tapered spacer that they run. So you'll see Joe actually run right up against the wall here through the tri-oval, unlike everybody else we've seen tonight. And that's because he's trying to keep as much speed up as he can as he comes through the tri-oval. And now Joe brings it right down to the bottom. And we'll probably see Joe push up just a little bit up into that middle lane, which we see. And he's higher than most people have been on track tonight. And again, that's going to allow him, as he turns into the corner here, to keep the speed up and kind of use the hill of the banking there to kind of push the car down the hill, as we like to call it, to get as much speed as he can. He's going to come tight right off here. And we might even see him run the apron, which is legal here at Talladega. You can run the apron for your qualifying lap. Looks like he's going to stay up on the track. Comes across the line. And he's going to jump up to the 8th position with a 52.40. So pretty tight throughout the field. Pole is a 52.34. You have 3 guys right behind who ran 52.35s. Eddie Morris with a 38. Isaiah Gill with a 39. Brian Nudie with a 39. Just barely out-qualifying Isaiah Gill. So your top 13 separated by 1/10 of a second. So pretty impressive here. Have Michael White out on track now, making his qualifying attempt. Looks like he's out on his money lap now. Actually, I take that back. This is his first lap. So he's deciding to keep it low here on his first lap instead of using the long way around to get that car all wound up. See if it pays off for him, as we got about 11 seconds left in qualifying. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to set a second lap here. So what he's able to cross the line with here is going to be his starting position. And he moves up into the 12th position. So it looks like two drivers deciding not to qualify here. As we take a look at our starting grid, and out on pole is Cody Moore in that 52 machine with Chris Wheeler in the 22 to his outside. See if I can get a good view here. So Cody Moore in the 52 is your pole sitter. The 22 of Chris Wheeler to his outside. Colin Willems in the 17, he's going to roll off third, with Bobby Mays in the 5 in the 4th spot. Row 3 is going to find our playoff driver, Eddie Morris, in the 8. And Brian Nudie, another playoff driver, rolling off in 6th. 7th is going to be Isaiah Gill in the 2 machine, with Brian Dees to his outside. In 9th, we have the 82 of Joe Wright. And outside of him, the 68 of Devin Buccino. Playoff driver Stephen Black in the 98. He'll be rolling off 11th with Michael White in the 09 Coca-Cola machine in 12th. Zachary Cox in the 51 machine. He'll be rolling off in 13th with Kyle Mays in 14th. David Wright rolling off from the 15th position with William Walter Witt the 5th in that Pennzoil machine, rolling off in 16th. 9th row is going to find the 95 of Michael Provolt and the 47 of Michael Lawrence. TJ Floyd in the 49 machine. He'll be rolling off the P19, and outside of him to round out row 10, the 16 of Nick Mather. Brian Merle Jr., he'll be rolling off 21st with Todd Mays rolling off 22nd. And then Derek Chaput doesn't look like he is connected. And he's going to be starting in the 23rd position. And he could be starting from the pits. We'll have to see if he does enter the track, or if he missed the start, or if he's watching from the sidelines tonight. But pace car is rolling here at Talladega. So our stage break tonight will be on lap number 10. So your stage break tonight will be on lap number 10. And fuel run here should be somewhere between 21 to 25 laps, depending if you're in the draft or you're leading. So we'll see how that plays off. We have a couple cautions early. You might see drivers coming down pit road to top off and leave the tires in the field in the pits, because tires aren't going to make as much of a difference here as they would at a place like, say, Martinsville or Richmond, Atlanta, where they really burn off the tires. Here, tires handling is not as much of an issue. But Cody Moore in that 52 machine, he's going to lead them down to the starting zone. Again, the start-finish line is way past the tri-oval. So the start will come pretty much in the middle of the tri-oval here. As Cody Moore leads them to the starting line. Green flag's in the air. We're racing here in the round of 8 at Talladega Superspeedway. And a great jump from Cody Moore and Colin Willems on that bottom line. Colin staying right there with Cody. That's leaving Chris Wheeler up on the high side. He's got the 5 of Bobby Mays giving a push. Here comes Brian Nudie. And Brian D is giving a push on that high side as well. So you got those 4 locked up pretty good on the high side. The bottom lane, not quite as organized. So that energy should be coming on that high side. And now we see Michael White. Oh, we saw Michael White and Kyle Mays on the high side, but they're going to drop down to the bottom. Here comes Will Witt. Will's trying to get to the back bumper of Brian Dees to get that top lane moving. I also see Stephen Black back there trying to make his way up to the front, moving up on that high side. And as we come across to complete lap number 1, it's going to be Cody Moore and Colin Willems and Eddie Morris really dominating on the bottom side right now, but that top lane is really starting to form up. We already see about 9-10 cars there on the top side as Brian Nudie's going to drop down to the bottom. He gets clear. Going to drop down to the bottom behind Michael White as they come off at turn number 2. That's going to leave Michael White kind of stranded there. Now he drops back down. I thought he was going to look to the outside, but he peaks and comes back down. Chris Wheeler is dropping back like a rock, just not able to get the push that he was hoping here. As you see him just, that top lane just not getting organized enough to move forward. And see if they can use a little side draft here. You can get right down on the quarter panel of the car in front, as we got a mess of cars down on the apron. They're 3 wide towards the back of the pack. But you can get right down on the quarter panel of the car in front of you and pull them backwards. And as long as you can get away from them enough before you get back in the corner, you can actually drag them backwards. But right now we're just seeing a single file line on the bottom being the dominant line. We see one car. It looked like Devin Buccino was thinking about tucking out a line for a second. But up front, Cody Moore. And now he's got Abe Morris is looking to the high side, see if he can get someone to go with him. But Isaiah Gill decided to stay right back in line with him in 4th. As the field is really starting to get organized into a single file pack right now, which shouldn't last too long. I think these guys are just trying to bide their time a little bit, get some understanding of how their cars are handling in the draft. And towards the end of the stage, I'm sure we're going to see some side-by-side racing as people are going to try to get some stage points, especially some of our playoff drivers like Colin Willems and Eddie Morse, Brian Nudie. See Bobby Mays back there as well, playoff driver. So 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th, all playoff drivers. I think Kyle Mays in 7th is a playoff driver as well. Yep, that is correct. So actually from 2nd to 7th are all playoff drivers right now. So there's 6 of your playoff drivers, with Brian Dees currently sitting back in 16th. And Chris Wheeler falling all the way back to the 9th place. as we're already working lap number 5 here at Talladega. And again, the field just kind of strung out, single file. 2 distinct packs now, as we see Will Witt leading this second pack back here. And right in front of him, Brian Dees and Michael White looking like they were going to make a move to the outside. Oh, Michael White cut Brian Dees off a little bit there, and that caused Dees to really have to lift. And now he's in danger of falling back to that second pack. Now it looks like Bobby Mays is starting to fall back a little bit from Brian Nudie. And the 47 of Michael Lawrence and the 51 of Zachary Cox. The first 2 cars to really tuck out of line and try to get that high side going. Here comes Michael White looking to the high side as well. So we got 3 cars up there. Let's see if they can get formed up and make that high lane start to move. I imagine that's really tempting for David and Joe right there to jump up to the high side. Now Will Witt jumps into that lane as well. And now he tucks back down to the bottom. Thinks better of it and tries to keep his momentum moving forward. Now everybody's going to tuck back in line. See Stephen Black back here as well. And for some of these guys in the back, it might be a safe strategy for them, as they're going to be staying out of trouble and not have to worry about the wreck if there is one. Also, TJ Floyd way off the pace, completely losing the draft, along with Derek Chaput, who I mentioned missed the start. So he is currently 25 seconds off the pack, along with TJ Floyd here. So these 2 are hoping for a caution. They do have the stage break coming up in about 2 laps. So as the field rockets off at turn number 2, was anybody going to start making a move here to try to gain some stage points? Again, Cody Moore not in the playoffs. Colin Willems is, so is Colin Willems and Eddie Morris maybe going to team up here and make a move around Cody Moore to try to get those playoff points. They come off of turn number 4. And if anybody's going to start making a move for some playoff points and some stage points, they better start doing it now. See Joe Wright jumping to the high side. He's got his brother David with him. They're trying to hook up to make that high lane work now. Joe Wright dragging Chris Wheeler back, and you're seeing him actually pull him back from the pack. Here comes Dave Wright to give a big push. Here comes Will Witt, Stephen Black, and Ryan Merrill Jr. on that high side. So now we got a bunch of cars lined up on that high side trying to make something happen here. Are they going to have enough time before the stage ends? Up front, Cody Moore still riding in the lead here. You see that second pack starting to get real racy back there. And now we're going to start the last lap of the stage. It's Cody Moore up to the lead. We see 1 car. That's Bobby Mays jumping up to the high side. Is Kyle going to go with him? Yes, he is. Here comes Buccino. Try to jump to the high side with him as well. Brian Nudie looks like he's going to get strung back here and pulled back, as Bobby Mays is starting to make that high lane work. Now Buccino's going to tuck back in behind Brian Nudie. They're going to move themselves forward, as Joseph Wright has made his move and gotten around that little pack there. Now he's leading this second pack, but it's going to be all for naught, as Cody Moore now jumps to the high side. Colin Willems, Eddie Morris, and Isaiah Gill racing here for the stage win. As they come to the line, the stage is going to go to Colin Willems, with Eddie Morris and Isaiah Gill, Brian Nudie, Devin Buccino, Bobby and Kyle Mays, then Joe Wright and Dave Wright, as we expect the caution. There it is. That's the caution to bring out the end of the stage. So your stage win tonight is going to go to Colin Willems, who's also going to get that very valuable playoff point. As well as 10 bonus points for leading the stage. And I see all 20 of you out there watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. I haven't heard much from you guys tonight, so let me know who you're cheering for tonight, who you think's going to win. And what your prediction is on what lap the big one's going to come out on tonight. Dean Qualley says, hey, how's it going? Dean, it's going well. It's some super speedway racing here. Colin Williams, the fellow Canadian, winning the stage. In that DeWalt Canadian Tire machine, which I learned Canadian Tire doesn't just sell tires. So as they come down towards pit road here, I imagine we'll see the entire field come down and pit. They may not take tires, but they will definitely be taking fuel. Isaiah Gill might take tires. He might take left sides here. Just because we saw Isaiah do that last night in the ARCA series. Oh, some contact between Brian Newty and Devin Buccino. Buccino misses his pit stall because of it. And Isaiah Gill already down and away. There goes Colin Williams as well. Cody Moore, Joe Wright gets off in fourth. Kyle and Bobby Mays, Chris Wheeler, Brian Newty falls all the way back to eighth. David Wright and Nick Mather come out in 10th. So Colin Williams wins the stage and is able to get back out in front of everybody on the pit stop. Brian Newty having some issues with Devin Buccino getting into their pit stalls and getting a little bit of damage there. See Cassie Williams saying, let's go Colin and Mather. I think I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to actually pull in our stage winner. Hey, Colin, you got Josh up in the booth. I'm doing something different. I'm going to interview the stage winners now. How's it going out there?
Hey, not too bad, Josh. How you doing?
Man, great racing, getting that stage win. I know that's important for you being in the playoffs. And how's the car handling, and how are these guys running out there, as most of the racing's been single file so far?
Yeah, it's been pretty tame so far. A lot of single file racing, which, this early is kind of good. So, but, we're going to see some action 2 to 3 to go.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you have any partners out there working with you, your teammates there?
Yeah, it looks like we're running kind of a hybrid team tonight with some YXU guys, some Cyclone guys, some operators guys. So
awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on the stage win. I know those bonus points are going to be important for you, and hopefully we'll catch you at the end.
All right, thanks, Josh. Hope to talk to you at the end too.
So how's your stage winner, Colin Williams? We're right on board with him here. Hear him shutting the car off and trying to save as much fuel as he can, as the lights on the pace car are off. We'll be going green flag racing next time by, with Colin Williams choosing the inside here, with Cody Moore behind him, as him and Cody are currently working in the same Discord channel, so it makes sense to have a pseudo teammate there behind you. Although Isaiah Gill's got Joe Wright behind him, and we know Joe Wright is a very, very good super speedway racer as well. Looks like in the chat, looks like Eddie had some technical difficulties. That's a bummer. Yeah, we see Eddie Morris off track right now, and Not really sure what happened to Eddie there. We got Todd Mays who just went in and topped off as well. Then I see Corley Mather says, let's go Nick and Colin. Well, now we see Eddie Morris still sitting there on pit road, trying to get his technical difficulties figured out. So hopefully, yep, looks like he's rolling. He's going to be able to get back out there, and I think he's going to have enough time. Let's take a look at the track map here. He might be able to get back out there and catch up to the field before we go back green flag racing, as the field is just rolling into turn number 3. So we'll keep the track map up for a moment to see if he's able to get himself back caught up to the field, as again the start finish line is well past the tri-oval, as you can see up there, and it looks like Eddie might actually be able to catch the field, as he is now just coming by the second checkpoint there and entering turn number 3. Pace car is just pulling off now. You'll see Eddie Morris popping around here around the corner. He's going to be at full speed too when he reaches the field here, so he might do a little Days of Thunder action here. And as we come to the start here, and yeah, he caught right up to the field. Unfortunately, not able to do anything with that big run. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing here at Talladega Superspeedway, and already the top 4 are kind of getting single file here, as Isaiah Gill tucked in behind Cody Moore. Joe Wright sitting in 4th spot, and I think for the moment that's exactly where Joe wants to sit, is right there a little bit behind, where he might be able to get a good run and make his way up to the front if he can get enough cars to go with him. We see Kyle Mays and Bobby Mays right behind him. Both of them are in the playoffs. And both of them could really use a win to secure their spot in the next race. As we see 2 distinct lines, actually 3 distinct groups out on track right now. You've got the first 10 lined up. Then you've got the next 7. And then everybody else on back, as Eddie Morris is currently a lap down. And it looks like Eddie Morris, yep, is currently a lap down, trying to get back onto the lead lap. If we do have another yellow here, it would be easy for him to get back on the lead lap. Again, Eddie Morris, one of our playoff drivers, and hoping to have a good showing here, as we already got some moves being made in the middle of the pack, as we just saw Michael White with a huge run. That second pack has caught the first pack, and because of the run they got, they're going to try to make a move to the high side and try to get themselves up to the front. That pack being led by Michael White, who gets around Dave Wright. I thought he was going to kind of leave Will Witt up there on the high side, which he does. He's going to tuck down the bottom, and Will Witt's going to get freight trained all the way back to the back of the field. So Will Witt, one of our super speedway kind of experts as of late, giving Michael White a great push. And then Michael White falling all the way back. Here comes Brian Nudie looking up to the high side. Oh, we got a couple of cars jumping up to the high side, and a bunch of cars getting down and out of shape as Brian Merrill Jr. is able to tuck back in line. That did not work out, looks like, for Zachary Cox, who jumped up there expecting a run. He got shuffled all the way back to the back as well. So you still see Michael White trying to work that high lane, but just hasn't got anybody to go with him. Michael White gets such a good run there through the corner, but just no place to take it, as you really can't do anything with a run you get in the corner. You want to try to time that run so you have it coming off the corner and can make a move to the outside. Now you see Devin Buccino and Brian Merle Jr. trying to make a move to the high side, and nope, they're going to tuck back right in. See, on Twitch, Tulsa Rad Dad says, got to get help to go up high, and that's the truth. You need at least 2 or 3 cars to get up there. You see Brian Nudie moving up to the high side. Isaiah Gill also going to the high side. We got yellow on track. It looks like maybe an issue for Michael Provolt back here. That's going to bring up our first Wreckage Rewind. So it looks like just a little bump drafting going wrong here. As you got Derek Chaput pushing on the back bumper of Michael Provolt. Chaput gets shoved by TJ Floyd. He gets pushed up high a little bit. And then Provolt tries to make that move to the high side. Then Chaput just catches him. And that left side quarter panel sends him right around. And that's what's going to bring out our caution as Michael Provolt and Eddie Morris able to get it woed down, not make any contact, and Eddie's going to get our free pass here. Get himself back on the lead lap. I agree, Tulsa Rad Dad. With good timing and help, it can be the winning move here at Talladega, and that's exactly what these guys are hoping to see. As we see a bunch of cars coming down pit road, the field's kind of split now as Joseph Wright is the first car to hit pit road, along with Brian Nudi, Devin Bacino, David Wright, Zach Cox, Michael Lawrence, Brian Merle Jr., TJ Floyd, Michael Provolt, Todd Mays, Derek Chaput, all these guys coming down, taking a splash of fuel. So they're able to go a little bit longer than everybody else out there as Eddie Morris is going to get that free pass in that wave around here. But Colin Willems is continuing to be your leader. Don't forget, tomorrow night we got a doubleheader here on Intensity Broadcasting as we're going to have the SNL Late Model Series starting at 8 o'clock, and then the iOS Truck Series will be taking on Las Vegas tomorrow night in their start of the round of 8. So you definitely want to check that out, as currently in the top 8 going into tomorrow night's round of 8. Colin Willems is your points leader in the Truck Series, with Kyle Mays, Stephen Black, Brian Nudi, Isaiah Gill, Josh Hall, hey, that's me, Todd Mays, and Brian Merle Jr. in the top 8, competing for a championship. Actually, I take that back. Brian Nudi is going to be relinquishing his playoff spot, and Derek Chaput, who's currently sitting in 9th, will be taking over the 8th and final playoff spot tomorrow night. So I'll be at Las Vegas tomorrow night, so check that out. That should be a fun one. Vegas is always a good race. And then I know it's not part of the iOS series, and I know it's not part of Intensity Broadcasting, but the Pelicans Superspeedway series, which a lot of these guys run in, has their playoffs on Thursday night as well, as that's going to be the Cup cars at Talladega as well. So looks like the lights will be going off on the pace car this time by. We're going to go 1 to go. So we're going to re-rack them, restack them, get ready to refire them here at Talladega Superspeedway. Colin Willems again taking that low side, putting Cody Moore up on the high side. Then Isaiah Gill and Kyle Mays back in the second row. Bobby Mays and Nick Mather in third row. Chris Wheeler, Michael White, Stephen Black, Brian Dees, the top 10. And then it starts to get into the people who went in and pit that time. Brian Nudi, the first car, came off pit road first, so he's the first car with the most fuel. Then Devin Buccino, Michael Lawrence, TJ Floyd, Todd Mays, Joe Wright went in first, came out I should say he came in 10th, came out 19th on that pit cycle. So not really sure what happened to Joe. Maybe missed his pits box or something. As they come down the backstretch, getting ready to go back, green flag racing. Remember, we do still have the potential for the big one here at Talladega. Anytime you get that many cars running that closely, that potential is always there. Right now, it's kind of the calm before the storm, but as the laps wind down and the intensity picks up, we might see some driver make a big mistake that ends up wiping out 3/4 of the field. Fortunately, these guys all do have one quick repair tonight, so if they were to get caught up in an accident, they can repair the car one time and get back out there. But after that, it could easily end your night getting caught up in someone else's mistake. As the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road, Colin Williams is going to lead them back down to the starting line. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing, and Cody Moore is going to dive down in front of Isaiah Gill here to take back that second position. It looks like one car, it looks like Michael White was looking to the high side of Chris Wheeler, but had no one to go with him, so he's going to have to tuck back in line. Meanwhile, while that's going on, we've got pretty much the entire field in line, except for Michael Provolt up on the high side. Now he's going to tuck in behind Derek Chaput. Oh, we see David and Joe Wright back here working together. See if they can get themselves back up to the front. As we're almost to halfway here at Talladega Superspeedway, the lap's clicking off quickly here. And the field pretty much all single file, and it's broken down into a couple different packs as Brian Dees makes a jump out to the outside by himself. Trying to see if anybody would go along with him, and nobody does. He's going to have to tuck in behind Will Witt here. Now we're starting to see a little bit of separation in the middle of this pack as Michael White is starting to fall off of Chris Wheeler just a little bit. Now he's got Stephen Black giving him a little bit of a push to get him back up to the pack. Excuse me now. Will Witt right behind Brian Nudie running in line. That's going to be the end of, Brian Dees sitting in 12th. That's going to be the end of this line here. As they come rocketing down would be the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2, and the field pretty much single file all the way back. And we've got our second pack here. It's Devin Buccino, TJ Floyd, Todd Mays. And we see Cheeseburger Lawrence falling back just a little bit with Derek Chaput and Michael Lawrence there. Joe and Dave Wright, Eddie Morse, kind of all by themselves now in no man's land, sitting back 21st, 22nd, 23rd, which normally you would be concerned. But I don't think this is a bad strategy for these guys back here, as something could easily happen up front, and they would keep themselves clean and out of it. As the field rockets across the line here, still single file. Everybody's kind of biding their time, getting ready to make a move. Trying to see if they can get a run. You see Kyle Mays falling back a little bit. Trying to fall back to Bobby Mays. See if Bobby can break that bubble and get to the back bumper. And give Kyle the big shove up to the front. Actually looks like Nick Mather is between Kyle and Bobby here, so maybe the three of them can now work together, as my iRacing just clicked out for a second. I apologize for that, but it looks like we're back with no problems. A little further back, Devin Bacino is leading this second group now. And they're actually falling back. As you see, they're not quite as organized or in line as that front group. You can see how organized and in line this front group is. Then you go back to the second group and you've got people trying to race to make their way around. And now Joe Wright, David Wright, and Eddie Morris starting to make some ground on Brian Merle Jr. and Zachary Cox. Ooh, Isaiah Gill jumps up to the high side. I don't know if he jumped up there or if he was forced out there, but he's falling back now like a rock. Maybe he can tuck in back here behind Chris Wheeler. That's going to move Kyle Mays up into the third position, right behind Cody Moore. As we look off the back bumper here of Kyle Mays. If we look off Colin Williams' bumper here, you can see Cody Moore getting right up to that back bumper. Not quite giving him a push, but right there. Not quite able to break that bubble. Same here with Joe Wright. Eddie Morris just not quite able to get to that back bumper to break that bubble and get that push going. Stephen Black was looking to the outside but didn't have anybody to go with him, and now he's going to fall to the back here. No, he's going to tuck in right in front of Will Witt. And a little further back, these guys are still battling for position, which isn't helping doing them any favors as they're battling. It's just causing them to go slower and fall back into the clutches of Joe Wright, Eddie Morris, Dave Wright. And then you got Brian Merle Jr. and Zachary Cox. So now you got 5 cars in this little backpack here, which may not be a bad move for them. Oh, Will Witt around up into the wall. Is that going to bring out the yellow? And it is. See, Eddie Morris making some evasive moves there, and that's going to bring out another wreckage rewind, and we'll just have to see what happened to Will Witt here. There's Will might have got a little bit of a bad bump here that sent him for a ride. You see Will. Oh yeah, Will gets tagged there by the 27 of Brian Dees. Tries to save it. He almost got it saved. Catches that wall and does a good job of holding the brakes and not sliding down into traffic. But it still brings out the yellow here as Eddie Morris has to make a evasive maneuver to get around the stopped machine of Will Witt. Actually, let's take a ride on board with Eddie. You can see exactly what Eddie just saw there. As from the driver's seat, you can't see much with that big spoiler in front of you. And yeah, he did a good job getting around. So Colin Williams now up in front of the pace car. Don't want to do that. You don't want to get penalized. And with 21 laps to go, I imagine we'll see the entire field come down pit road and top off their fuel. As from here, they should be able to make it if we don't have any more yellow flags. If we do, that could play havoc as these guys will have just enough fuel, I think, to make it to the end. I kind of figured the fuel window would be between 21 and 24, depending if you're leading or not. So, actually, looks like one car is going to stay out here. Michael Provolt stays out on track. Not sure what the reasoning is on that. But there is absolutely no way that he's going to be able to make it on fuel from here. You see the race off pit road. Colin Willems, Kyle Mays. I think Chris Wheeler might have just barely edged out Cody Moore. Then Bobby Mays, Michael White, Brian Nudie, Stephen Black, Devin Bacino, TJ Floyd, Todd Mays, Derek Chaput, Nick Mather, Joe Wright, Isaiah Gill, David Wright, Brian Merle Jr., Zachary Cox, Michael Lawrence, Eddie Morris. Brian D's just coming off pit road. Looks like he took 4 tires in fuel. I mean, why not take 4 tires? He's going to be getting the EOL anyways for that incident. And Will Witt still on pit road. Looks like he's trying to get that damage fixed up. Let's take a look at his car. And it looks like he might have used his reset there because that car looks nice and clean now. So in a strange strategy call, you got Michael Provolt up in the lead here. Colton Hill asks, is Josh Lokenvitz here? No, this is the iOS series, not the original Rebels series. Josh Lokenvitz runs in the original Rebels. You can find him on Saturday nights and on Sunday nights here on Intensity Broadcasting, but not here on Tuesdays, unfortunately. But with 20 laps to go, you might want to stick around because you might find a new favorite driver here, as we're going to have a great shootout in the round of 8 here in the iOS Cup Series. So it looks like the lights on the pace car are going to be off. And Michael Provolt is going to line up on the bottom side. And we'll be going back green flag racing at this 2.66 mile track. The longest oval on the NASCAR series. I say longest oval because we do have quite a few road courses that are quite a bit longer. With Road America being the longest of them. Road America being just over 4 miles, 4.04 miles to navigate 1 lap there on that road course, which is going to be fun to watch the Cup cars navigate that track. Actually, I take that back. They already have. There's been so many road course races this season that kind of forgot where we've been and what's coming up. That's right, Chase Elliott won July 4th at Road America. Looks like we do have another, I think we have one more road course coming up. Yeah, we have the Roval. Will be the last road course of the Cup Series. So that will be the actual NASCAR Cup Series. So that will be fun. Next season, these guys have a little bit of work, change of plans for what the iOS is going to be doing next season. And from what I see, it should be an exciting season next season as well. As the lights on the pace cars taking that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Michael Provolt is going to lead them back down to the starting line. Michael Provolt hits the loud pedal green flag back in the air. Colin Willems with his teammate Cody Moore out there on the high side. But Kyle Mays is all over the back bumper of Provolt. Oh, they get together. Provolt, Kyle Mays, Kyle down on the apron. There it is. There's the big one. This is going to take out a lot of cars, as we could see. Kyle Mays involved, Cody Moore, Bobby Mays, Todd Mays. A lot of our playoff drivers involved in that one. And That's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. As I said earlier, it's not going to be if the big one happens, it's when the big one happens. And that one looked like it was going on for quite a while there, as it started with Kyle Mays and Michael Provolt. And I got to bring this one back and find exactly when this started, because this started a lot earlier than what this is showing. So as they come down into turn number one, and let's bring this back just a little bit, because I want to break this one down just a little bit more. Michael Provolt leaves a lot of room down on the bottom, and Kyle Mays sees that, so he makes a move down to the bottom, does not cross that yellow line, and then Provolt comes back down into the side of Kyle Mays. Now Kyle does a great job trying to hold on to it. Michael Provolt is losing it. You see Colin Willems jumping up to the high side. They make some more contact, Provolt and Kyle Mays. Kyle Mays is trying to get himself back up on the track to make the corner. The two of them make contact. We see Chris Wheeler getting on by. Cody Moore back and forth, just not able to get on by. Brian Nudie sneaks through, along with Michael White. See Devin Buccino, TJ Floyd, Derek Chaput, Nick Mather gets a piece of it. Here comes Joe and David Wright getting involved. Isaiah Gill way up on the high side trying to get through. We see Eddie Morse getting a little piece of this as well. And let's take a look here from Kyle Mays' view, because Kyle, had the best view of this. So heavy impacts there for Kyle Mays. And take a look from Dave Wright's view here, as he sees this all folding in front of him, and he's trying to get down on the brakes. Oh, he had nowhere to go. Once you're down in the grass, there's not much you can really do right there. Trying to see if we can get a view of from Eddie Morris here, as Eddie was well behind this. This will be the last view that we're going to take here. Oh, I thought I was a little further up than I was, but let's see here. Looks like Eddie might have got a little bit of damage through this, or that might be some residual damage from earlier. This is just how fast it happens. Yeah, he makes a little bit of contact with Todd Mays and with Kyle Mays. Just nothing you can do. It's just a helpless feeling when you're in that position. That's going to put Colin Willems back up into the lead. And it'd be, I imagine the race comms are not very pleasant back there right now. Eddie Moore is still on pit road. I think because of his technical issues earlier, he may have used his fast repair, which it looks like he did, and he's all bent up on pit road, trying to get that thing fixed up the best he can and try to salvage a finish here. And try to get as many points as he can to move on from the round of 8. As the lights on the pace car are off, we're going to get ready to go back racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. little fun fact, according to the legend, Talladega Superspeedway is cursed, haunted, and jinxed. Supposedly, it's built on a Native American Indian burial ground. While the myth has never really been documented, drivers, crews, and team owners love to tell the spooky stories that have unfolded at Talladega's biggest track. And for sure, a lot of weird things have happened at Talladega through the years. One memorable moment I can think of is before the green flag even flew. Mark Martin was warming up his tires, trying to get the tires set, much like you see Michael White doing right there. And his steering box locked up, and he took out the car to his outside as he was on pole before the race even started. So a lot of strange and interesting things have happened. We've seen cars almost go out of the stands when Ricky Craven had his massive wreck in '93, where he went up over the field and into the catch fence, then came back down across the track. Seen a wild finish with Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards went up into the fence here. I believe it's Kelly Yarbrough blowing a tire and rolling down the front stretch after getting into the fence. Blew a tire right off of turn number 4 here. It might have been Bobby Allison. It was one or the other. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we are going back green flag racing as the pace car is taking a hard left-hand turn in the pit road. Green flag is back in the air. Colin Willems gets out to a good jump. TJ Floyd and Brian Newty making that hard left-hand turn to get down in front of Devin Bacino. Now TJ Floyd's going to jump up to the high side. He sees Isaiah Gill out there, and he's going to try to make some moves now. He tucks back down in behind Brian Newty. And Isaiah Gill's getting freight trained on that high side. Maybe he's able to tuck in here in front of Brian Merle Jr., which he is. And now Michael White up into the 3rd position, trying to find a way around Colin Willems as we have 13 and a half laps to go here at Talladega, which doesn't seem like a lot of time. But at Talladega, it's really easily, you can easily go from second back to last in just over a lap. And right now, Colin Willems got a little bit of a gap between him and Michael White, which is not what you want to see being the leader. You'd rather that car behind you be right on your back bumper, giving you a push, instead of being stuck back there a little ways back where he might be able to get a run on you. As we see the field come down the backstretch. Right now, single file. Will Witt up on the high side, trying to get something going. We saw this a couple weeks ago in the Pelican race. He was the first one to jump up there. He's got Cody Moore and Stephen Black with him, along with Brian Dees and David Wright trying to jump up there. So you've got a bunch of cars up there trying to make that high lane work. And it looks like they're starting to make the high lane work here as they come off through the tri-oval, past the start-finish line. Will Witt already up into that 2nd position. He's got Cody Moore giving him the big shove. Here comes more help on the high side. See David Wright, Todd Mays, Brian Dees joining that high side as well. Now we're starting to get a second line started up. Isaiah Gill's going to jump up there as well. We see Zachary Cox and Nick Mather jumping up there. So we got quite a few cars trying to make something happen on that high lane. Now that high lane just starting to fade off just a little bit. Could somebody jump up there and go with him? Is Brian Newty going to be the one to jump up there? Chris Wheeler maybe trying to get the win. Chris Wheeler is a playoff driver. A win would seal him into the next round. Something that he's hoping to do here is, you see that top lane now, Cody Moore with the big push all over Will Witt's back bumper. You can see he is right on the bumper here, which is exactly what you want being Will Witt. When we cross the line this time, we'll have just 10 laps to go here at Talladega to settle it. Just over 26 miles to figure this out. Now, looks like Derek Chaput up to the top lane. And Devin Buccino up to the top lane in front of Will Witt. So a couple more drivers trying to make that high lane work as we got more cars up in that high lane trying to make something happen. Devin Buccino is a very good super speedway racer in his own right. Trying to make that high side work. Using a little bit of a side draft and then trying to get away. Brian Dees up into the third lane now. Brian Dees and David Wright trying to make a third lane for him up. Now they get back down into the second lane, and Will Witt now is being shuffled back in the middle. What we like to call the sucker hole, being there in the center lane, not where you want to be. Brian Dees all the way up into the third lane, up against the wall. And now it looks like Devin Buccino and David Chaput dropping down into the bottom lane. Oh, what a round in the back. It's Todd Mays up into the wall, no caution. Possibly a bump draft gone wrong, but we stay green. As up front, Colin Willems is continuing to lead over Michael White, Chris Wheeler. Brian Nudie and TJ Floyd sitting back in fifth. Oh, a big bump from Will Witt gets Derek Chaput out of shape. Derek Chaput and Will Witt running Derek Chaput and Devin Buccino running very similar paint jobs. As up front, we're still single file as they come down the backstretch. 7.5 laps to go here at Talladega. Does anybody have anything for Colin Willems here? Is Michael White or Chris Wheeler going to make the move that's going to win the race? Could it come from a move further back? Could we see, say, Nick Mather steal one away from the playoff driver sitting back there? Brian Merle Jr., can he get a win in the Cup Series here? To play spoiler, here comes Todd Mays coming off of pit road with a fresh car after getting up into the wall. Brian Newton and TJ Floyd kind of laying back a little bit. Michael White looked to the outside, thought better of it, tucks back in behind. Brian Newton falling off of Chris Wheeler a little bit. Maybe try to think about timing a run here to get himself up into the lead. Eddie Morris now with a damaged car sitting back in the 8th place. So able to get that thing fixed up enough to work in the draft. Isn't going to be one to compete with for the win, but if these leaders up here were to wreck, he would be in good position to gain himself some points and having a great recovery as well. Stephen Black into pit lane. Not sure what happened to Stephen there, but out of the race now on pit road. Kyle Mays on pit road as well. So a couple drivers who were up in the mix earlier, now on pit road and retiring out of the race, it looks like. Oh, see Brian Merle Jr. get down on the apron just a little bit, able to recover. As we come across the line this time, we'll have just 5 laps to go here at Talladega. Who's it going to be, and are we done wrecking? Could we see another big one here? It's a possibility. So everybody's running so tightly. Everybody's single file now. It looks like, I believe that's Devin Buccino pulling out on the high side with Will Witt. And also Zach Cox now jumping up to that high lane, seeing that energy coming. Cody Moore up to the high lane. So now we got a couple cars now forming up there, trying to get something to happen here as we have just 4.5 laps to go. And for these guys in the back, it's, oh, we got one around. Joe Wright gets involved. Joe Wright hard into the wall. Zach Cox, Will Witt into the wall. Caution is out for the 5th time tonight. That's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. Because it looks like Zachary Cox got a bit of a bad bump here from Devin Buccino. Yeah, Devin gets a little low there, gets into that left rear quarter panel. If you're going to bump, you have to be square on the back bumper. He kind of just swipes the bumper there. Turns the 51 down into the 82. Comes back up hard into the outside wall. Looked like Joe was going to save it. Catches the front bumper of Isaiah Gill. Joe goes hard into the outside wall. Catches Will Witt. Will nowhere to go. Just an instant bystander. He catches the outside wall. Looks like Cheeseburger is going to pile into the back bumper of Joe Wright. Cody Moore. Looks like he might got just a little bit of damage there. So he can ride along with the 52 and see what Cody saw through that. And see if he got any damage there. Real time here. Yeah, he hit Cheeseburger twice there. And one guy you got to feel for is Will Witt. Will thought he was through that. Had a car go over him, hit the top of the car. Well, that's going to change everything as we're going to have a green-white checker here to decide it. You see, I believe that's Stephen Black. Yep, Stephen Black getting the wave around here back onto the lead lap. So when we go back green flag racing, we're going to have just 3 laps to settle it here with a green-white checker. I'm sorry, 2 laps to settle it here with the green-white checker. Colin Willems, more than likely, is going to take the inside. Although Brian Nudie is sitting there in the 4th spot. We'll have to see. Excuse me. We'll have to see who Colin Willems decides to go with here. And the lights on the pace car are getting ready to turn off here. So Colin Willems does choose the high side to get Brian Nudie behind him. Michael White, Chris Wheeler down on the bottom. And that could be a race-winning move here for Colin Willems, having the right pusher right behind him. Especially because Brian Nudie... Actually, I take that back. I thought Brian Nudie and Michael White were in the same team there, but they are not. But still, get Nudie up there as a pusher is a good thing, as he can tell, as Colin Willems can tell Nudie to give him that push that pushes him to the lead here and to the win. I know as a super speedway driver myself, I always look to see who I'm starting in front of to try to put myself in the best position to win, and Colin Willems doing the same thing here by choosing his partner as well. So when we take the green flag this time, it'll be 2 to go. We'll have the green flag, the white flag, and the checkered flag. Unless the yellow comes out between those two, we should see the end of the race here as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Colin Willems is going to lead him back to the restart zone. And we are back green flag racing, and a great jump for Colin Willems. Not so great a jump for Brian Nudie, though. Can Brian get clear of Michael White and get himself down the bottom? Colin's doing what he has to do. He's going to dump Nudie right here, put himself down on the bottom with Michael White. Michael White blocked in by Brian Nudie a little bit. Nowhere to go. Now he's clear of Nudie. Let's see if he's going to jump up to that high side here as they come down the backstretch, or if he's going to help Colin here. Colin's hoping that Michael White stays right behind him and gives him the push. Meanwhile, right behind, we got Derek Chaput up on the high side, 3 wide, trying to get around Isaiah Gill and Brian Merle Jr. Isaiah Gill makes an aggressive move to the bottom. Here comes Chaput down to the bottom as we come through the short chute to the tri-oval. White flag is in the hand. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here at Talladega. Can Colin Willems hold on for the victory, or is someone going to jump out of line and make an aggressive move here as they come through turns 1 and 2? You really got to start your pass here coming off of turn number 2. We'll have to see if Brandon White makes the move. Brandon White's got Chris Wheeler all over his back bumper, giving him the big push. Brandon White almost gets in the back of Colin Willems now. Brandon pushes up the track. Colin Willems has to, Wheeler has to check up to keep from getting in the back of Michael White. Here they come off of turn number 4 to the tri-oval. Michael White looks to the outside. Here comes TJ Floyd with the push on Michael White as they come through the tri-oval and across the stripe. It's going to be Colin Willems winning here at Talladega. Michael White coming home in second. Chris Wheeler coming home in third. Nick Mather having a great recovery coming home in fourth. And TJ Floyd, your top 5. But your winner tonight, your stage winner and race winner, Colin Willems. As we take a look at our results, 6th place going to be Isaiah Gill with Derek Chaput coming home in 7th. Brian Merle Jr. redeeming himself, coming home in 8th. Brian Nudie 9th, and Michael Provolt in the 10th position. Bobby Mays rebounds for an 11th place finish. Devin Buccino back in 12th. Eddie Morris falling back to 13th with that damaged car. 14th, Cody Moore, Zachary Cox, Michael Lawrence, David Wright, Brian D., Stephen Black, Joe Wright, Will Witt, Todd Mays, and Kyle Mays round out your field tonight. But out on track, got Colin Willems with the big celebration. It's a man who's done a few donuts in his time. So a great win here for Colin Williams, and we'll wait for our top three to join us in the booth here. Got Chris Wheeler. Let's pull in Chris Wheeler's our third place finisher. Chris, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey Josh, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How about yourself? Coming home third place tonight at Talladega.
I'm not going to complain with that one bit. Kept it pretty clean most of the race, and just this package sucks. I was just trying to hang to the draft and keep it on the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of guys don't like the package here in the Cup cars here at Talladega, but a good points night for you as you're trying to move on to the next round of the playoffs, and a solid third place finish is going to move you up quite a bit. That must feel pretty good right there.
Oh, yeah, it's really good to get a good start to the round of 8. I got shuffled out right before the stage break and lost a couple points there. I was hoping to get some stage points, but I'll take the third place and move on next week.
For sure, as we move on to Las Vegas next week. And how you like your chances at Vegas?
Vegas, I've run pretty good there. It'll just probably be about saving tires mostly. So whoever manages that, hopefully we can get some good long green flag runs and just have a good clean race.
Yeah, hopefully you can move yourself into the round of 4 next week after Vegas. But before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank? Anybody, any shout outs you got to give tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank everybody with iOS, and also like to thank my wife and kids, and thank God most importantly. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the broadcasts. They're really fun to watch afterwards.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that, and man, it seems like you're being a regular in my broadcast booth the last couple of weeks. So maybe we'll talk to you again next week at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I hope so. This is getting nice. I'm starting to get used to this.
Have a great one.
Yep, you too.
Now we're going to pull in our second place finisher here, Michael White. Michael, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me? Oh, Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
There we go. Now I got you. Man, congratulations on the second place finish. I know it's tough to pass here at Talladega. I know a lot of the guys don't like the package here, but you're able to make some moves there, get yourself up into the second position there. And did you have anything for Kyle if someone would have went with you, or you just didn't have the help there at the end?
I tried it with TJ right before the start finish line there, but we just didn't have enough to do it.
Yeah, and staying out, the strategy that some people trying to use to stretch the fuel a little bit. Was fuel any kind of concern there towards the end, or did you guys have more than enough to make it?
No, we had more than enough.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Other than that, anything else in the race? How'd the race go for you overall? Just tough to pass, or was it just the typical Cup Series at Superspeedway here?
Yeah, it was just really tough to pass, and I got lucky in that one big wreck there, and I got through it, so that helped out.
Awesome, man. Well, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give tonight?
I just got to thank Operators Racing and you guys for the broadcasting.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on a second place finish, and maybe we'll talk to you again before the end of the season.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
So as your second place finisher, Michael White. Now we're going to bring in the man of the hour, Colin Williams. I know we talked to you earlier in the race at the stage break, but coming home with the victory as you were coming down to the stripe there. Michael White was trying to make a big move to the outside and almost got you there at the end. Were you a little nervous there coming down to the stripe, or was it just good racing there?
Oh, no, it was good racing. I mean, I was nervous right after we took the white. I got a few good shots from him, squaring the bumper. Almost went around a few times on the white flag, but, no harm, no foul. It's just good, hard racing. He didn't get up under my quarter panel or nothing, so I got no problem with it. But, man, that was a hell of a last lap. I had a lot of fun there.
And I know you had a front row seat for the Michael Provolt and Kyle Mays incident there. Did you see that coming? Were you able to make the evasive move, or was it kind of caught you by surprise as that happened?
Well, as it was developing, like, because I didn't get the greatest restart and I didn't want to get hung up on the outside. So I actually lifted while we were going up through the gears so I could tuck in behind Kyle. So once I got in behind him, I saw him going under Pro Vault. And I was fully dedicated to going with Kyle on the inside to take the spot. And then I saw him start to touch. So I went up to the high side and luckily was able to avoid that. But yeah, I saw that in the mirror after and yeah, it looked like a big wreck.
Yeah, that was the big one for sure. Took out a lot of contenders in that one, but able to win the stage and come home with the win tonight. I know a little bit of strategy was being played out there as well. Were you one that had enough fuel to make it to the end as well?
Oh yeah, I had about 8 or 9 laps in reserve, I think, by the end there. So yeah, I was fuel wasn't a concern for me, which is always nice because I've been on the raw end of that a few times this year. So I was really happy with that.
Yeah, I see now you got the bots over on YouTube as Buckeye8811 Nope says, "Woo, go Colin, you ain't first, you're last." So I don't know who that is, but somebody else is congratulating you on the YouTube side
Yeah,
now.
yeah. He's one of my Xbox Live buddies. That's Brandon. So thanks, Brandon, for the shout out.
Anybody else you got a shout out tonight before we let you go?
Well, if he's on there, then I'm assuming Sheldon and Ian were probably in the Facebook too. I'll have to see, but I'll shout them out anyways. My wife Cassie, as always. Everyone who worked with me tonight. Nick and Cora, as always, and yeah, anybody else who was out there. I often miss thanking you, Josh, but I mean, these Tuesday nights, I've noticed you've been alone for a lot of it. I know that can't be easy, so I appreciate your efforts as well, and everything else. You know, Brian Nudie for putting this league on. And everybody who contributes. Shout out to Mark Shavers tonight for doing race control. Just everybody who makes this happen.
Awesome, man. I do appreciate that. And one more thing before we let you go, I just thought about I wanted to ask you. That last restart, you decided to take the outside with Brian Nudie out there. Did you think Nudie was going to be a better pusher for you than
Sorry, no, I had gotten a little bit too big of a jump on the inside last time, so I was hoping the outside might give me better luck to be able to, because you know how it is. Like if you pull away too far on a restart, you can just get railroaded on the backstretch. So I was hoping I'd get a little bit of a jump on the outside and be able to come down in front of the inside car. But so that was the idea behind there.
Perfect. Well, again, congratulations on the win. Easily on to the round of 4, going for another championship, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Las Vegas.
I appreciate it. And if you remember last season's Las Vegas, my performance was quite poor. So I'm pretty glad that I don't have to worry about performing well there now.
So what you're saying is you're not going to show up next week?
I'll probably be there, but I'm not going to enjoy it. We'll put it that way.
Sheldon Gurin says W. So you got another one coming in for you. I'm not sure if Tulsa Rad Dad is one of your bots as well, but I know Coralie and Cassie were definitely in there as well. So again, congratulations tonight, and we'll see how you do at Vegas next week.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks everyone. Thanks Josh. Have a good night.
So there you have it, Colin Willems, your winner here at Talladega Superspeedway. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night as the LNS Late Model Series kicks off our doubleheader with the iOS Truck Series at Las Vegas tomorrow night. And join us every week. And don't forget Friday night. Friday night's going to be a big one. We've got the Xfinity Series and the Original Rebels wrapping up their playoffs. We're going to be crowning a champion on Friday night. So check that one out. That's going to be at Phoenix. So that's going to be a good one to watch for. Zach Wetstein will have the call for that one. So check that out Friday night here on Intensity Broadcasting. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over